Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, this is Igho. So I am on my way back from a shoot with my brother. I just shot this really nice bodycon dress and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Turned out really nice. Now, can I breathe in the dress? That's not important, okay? We'll discuss that in the video. But if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so that you get first dibs on all of my YouTube content. And let's get straight into this tutorial.
Brother.
Okay guys, so very quickly I want to talk about the materials that we're going to need for this tutorial. For the main fabric, I'm using this stretch fabric that actually only stretches one way. As you can see, it doesn't stretch this way, it stretches this way. So when you're cutting your fabric, if you're using fabric that doesn't stretch both ways, which is what I would advise you do just to avoid mistakes, but if you're using fabric that doesn't stretch both ways, make sure that you're cutting the dress across on the part that stretches, right? Okay, so you want to get your main fabric, a pair of scissors. You're going to need some pins, some chalk or marking pen. So you're also going to need a bodycon top or any tight fitting top that you have as a guide, since we're not creating a pattern for this dress. For me, I decided to use this old turtleneck top that I've always had, so I'm using that as my guide. And last thing you're also going to need is a lace trim for the top of the bust of the dress. The first step obviously is using the top, the tight fitting top, as a guide to cutting out your dress the way you want it to be. So because the dress is a bodycon dress with thin straps, the dress itself, the main part starts at the bust. So you're going to have to measure 7 centimeters from the shoulder of your top down to your bust. And where that 7 inches ends, that's where you're going to put as the beginning of your new top, if that makes sense. But I'm going to illustrate as the video goes on. Measure how long you want your dress to be from your upper bust to your hem or to the bottom of the dress, and then mark your bust at the beginning, right? So the beginning of where you're going to start cutting, that's going to be your bust. So make sure that is a straight line. Then place your top, your tight fitting top or your shirt as a guide on that bust line. Just move it at like 7 inches down from the shoulder of the top. That's equivalent to the bust line, like I said. Now that you've measured out your bust line, just trace the rest out, making sure to leave a 2 centimeter seam allowance. Now, my dress ended up being just a little tighter than I wanted it to be, so I would advise that you leave a little bit more of a seam allowance than I did if you want your dress to be like, I had no issues wearing it or pulling it over my head. It's just like, if I wear that dress, I will be on a diet or just not eat a lot. So trace the rest out, making sure to leave an appropriate amount of seam allowance. Then cut out your front and back pieces. So after cutting out your front and back pieces, you're going to cut your back piece 1 inch lower than the front piece, because like even if you see these dresses, the back pieces are usually like, you know, reach the lower back. So you want the back piece to be a little 1 inch lower than the front. So make sure that you're cutting seam allowances all the way around. Now that you have your front piece and your back piece, cut out exact replicas of those pieces, those existing pieces, so that you have 2 of each. One for the outside and one for the lining. Then take the front and back pieces together, pin and sew the sides, right sides sewn facing each other, and just do the exact same thing for the replica pieces, for the lining, for the other front and back pieces. Just repeat it. Now for the straps, I'm cutting out 18 inches by 2 inches of the fabric, and you want to make your straps, as you're cutting your straps, make sure that they're a lot thicker. The reason why I'm cutting like 2 inches is because I want it to be a lot thicker so that it will be easier to sew. Then when you're done sewing, you can always cut out the excess. So cut out 2 pieces of the straps. After doing that, I'm then going to flip it in half over each other, or fold it if you prefer, and sew at about 1/2 inch loop running down. Then after cutting out the excess fabric, I'm just going to use a safety pin to flip it inside out, so it will be, right sides facing out. So now that we have all our pieces sewn, it's time to put them together. So what you want to do is take one full bodice piece and place it on the other right side facing. So make like front to front, make sure front to front is touching back to back, but like we are right sides facing each other, since one is the main dress and the other one is the lining fabric. Then I'm just going to go ahead and place the straps and the lace trim at the front bust line. So if you see from how the dress turned out, I wanted the lace trims to form a little curve on top of the bust line. That's why I'm not placing them straight on. You can see that I'm placing them in kind of like a slight curve. Pin those pieces down together, overlaying each other on the straight edge. Overlay like the right side facing right side, the front side facing front side on the straight edge, and just sew. I really hope this is clear enough to follow. Now the next step is attaching the other end of the straps to the back pieces as well. I'm marking the strap point at 4 inches away from the arm side. So just measure from the side, just measure 4 inches in, and that on that line at the back, that's where you're going to put your straps. Now the last step is to hem the lower line. As you can see, I decided to go for a lettuce hem again. I promise this is the last time I will take a break from using lettuce hems. But I wanted to show you that you can actually just attach some of the extra lace to the bottom instead of hemming it straight. It gives it an entirely different type of look if that's what you prefer. So now I'm done. I've hemmed it, and that is it. This is the finished product. Then I was really glad, I was really happy and like satisfied with how the dress turned out. I have no complaints whatsoever, just that I wish I had left a little bit more seam allowance so it would have been just a little bit looser. But you know, I wanted it to be a bodycon dress after all, so I have absolutely no problem with that. So guys, let me know what you think about this tutorial. If you like it, if you try it, don't forget to tag me, follow me on my social media at love_Igho. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get first tips on all of my YouTube content. I will see you in my next video. Bye.